What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Uchi back again, once again. Here, my man JD with yet another Power Ranger Academia for you guys. And I'm not dilly-dallying on the intro this time around because we have a finale to talk about.
Yes, a whole 11 episodes that dropped.
Yeah.
So we got a lot, a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Some of these we've seen, kind of dripping out over the last few days and stuff like that. But we got the full impact today.
I like that. They're dripping. That's like perfect way to put it. Literally. So this is gonna stick to the whole PRA format. We're just topic, talk about it, get our thoughts out there. So if you want to consider this a review of the season, sure, but honestly it's more of what we kind of just watched with some wrap-up thought.
It's like a gut reaction, this is like the gut reaction. I'm sure whenever we talk to Isaac and Tech, we'll have more of a in-depth where does this stand in the pantheon of Power Rangers, right?
Yeah.
But right now, this is the gut. We just finished watching this shit today, so.
So at the time of this recording, for full transparency, this is the same day that the remaining half of season 2 dropped on Netflix. So at this point, at the time that y'all are watching this, Dino Fury is finished, done, completed. There's no more episodes. I'm sure we can look forward to toys because Zayto already has his figure. I'm sure the rest of them are gonna follow soon thereafter. You never know with Hasbro because they might already be out, and
right.
So
I know that they accidentally leaked the Blue Ranger figure, the art for him at least.
Oh, well, there you go.
So he's coming eventually. I think Izzy's also coming too at some point. So
yeah. So all in all, right? I'll just start by saying,
okay.
I'll start by saying a good thing about Dino Fury because I don't want this. Because I'm looking over my notes, and I'm just people might get the wrong idea, right? They might think I'm really shitting on it. I'm really not.
The main thing we got to get across, right, is we could be fans but critical at the same time.
Thank you. Yes.
And
why you're here.
And so sometimes people are gonna have opinions, where it might be it might sound like we're bashing it, but it's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. See, I'm glad you made that point because that is literally all I ever try to do in all of my content. So, it's when you love something, you gotta be honest with all of it, the pros, the cons, and the in between, right? So, I will start by saying that Dino Fury as a whole, not just for season 2, and not just for these last half, but I will say that it was, and I think, the best Nickelodeon era season that they've put out. Just going from how the vibe was a little different in a good way. It seems to have, they had some story playing along. Certain things were a little predictable, not necessarily a terrible thing, but I did like the cast. And I liked what they're, I guess, trying to do, or that's the thing. It's still up in the air because obviously we know that it's not over. This continues in Cosmic Fury. So yeah, I actually wrote, just to read it, that overall Dino Fury, I believe, is Nick's best Power Ranger season. It tries to stick to its own identity while giving us a decent story to follow. A minor twist at the finale while leaving other questions to be answered. Not a perfect season by any means, but I'm intrigued enough to see how they handle Cosmic Fury. So that was my closing point, but I figured I'd start off by saying that. So I guess what I'll do is I'll read off each point that I have, and then we can just go back and forth on it, and then whatever, right?
Gotcha.
So the first thing I wanted to bring up, and I realized this because this was something that they talked about a little bit in season 2 in this season. And it was about the Morphin Masters, right? So Morphin Masters, a very key element in Dino Fury, which is nuts. And I have to give them like some kind of like, okay, like they're trying to not just appease to us, like the older audience, right? But they're trying to also implement actual lore from the overall Power Rangers. Like, this is not just Mighty Morphin, right? This is like,
this is the universe.
Yeah.
This is Power Rangers universe, you know.
Absolutely. So I wrote here, Morphin Masters change over time? Because there was a line that, I don't know if you caught. I don't totally forget what episode it was in season 2. But it was during the whole, like, back and forth between, like the butting of the heads between, like, the blue Morphin Master and the green one. And I feel like in the middle of that, they were explaining their history. And I swear, like, I remember them saying previous Morphin Master. And I was like, so these aren't, like, the original only Morphin Master.
This is actually an interesting point because I saw some people on Twitter talking about this before, like when the episodes, like, you know, originally got, you know, dripped out. But basically, I think they talked about this in the comics, but there allegedly were like more than just like the 6 Morphin Masters that you see. There was a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they were alluding to more so, where just like there was a whole bunch of them, and over time, like they got like taken down by, you know, just forces. And I guess, you know, you could say, you know, whatever the Dark Spectre threat was or whatever, you know, because like the in the comics at least, like it seems like that threat is what has been kind of like at the core of the Morphin Grid's inception. So I feel like if there had to be anything that would have taken down the Morphin Masters between, you know, when the Morphin Masters, like, I guess, began and now, it would have to be something that had to do with Dark Spectre or whatever. But like, I think that's what they're referring to. It's just the fact that there was more than just like the 6 that we see. But again, like the comics got a little bit more into the emissaries than the Morphin Masters. Correct?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, like the Power Rangers universe stuff, like I you know, like it wasn't necessarily like the cleanest arc, so my memory's a little hazy on it, but I believe that was about the emissaries, not the Morphin Masters. But if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments.
Yeah, so from what I remember, because full transparency, I didn't finish it. I think I read the first 2 or 3 issues out of the 6, I think.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. So from what I remember, like I said, it was like you said, yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, it was just things that were happening. And there was so many characters, obviously, right? Because there was all these Morphin Masters and everything. But like, it was kind of weird to follow a little bit, and I feel like my attention was all on the freaking Phantom Ranger, or the white one, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I also wanted to add to this by saying, like, could this explain the difference in appearance from the comics? Because like you had already started to mention, you know, like they looked completely different in the comic book. So like, I mean, they definitely looked a lot better in the comics, I'll say that, right? But when you know, we see okay, so I remember making this joke on Twitter when we first saw the Morphin Masters appear in Dino Fury. I literally made the connection to them looking like, and I totally forget this dude's name, but I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about. They all look like that one cyborg from Time Force, like the gold guy who was like the right hand man, who was like the doctor.
Oh, you're talking about Thrax or whatever?
No, not Thrax.
Wait.
I don't think his name was Thrax, but he was.
Wait, you're talking about Ran 6?
Ran 6 dude.
Yeah, the one who was like.
Was it Thrax?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
I swear I think it was Thrax, but I don't know. I could be wrong again. But it's like that's what my like gut is telling me.
So yeah, like they all look like him, except white, and like have like their own like specified color. And I was like, what the hell is these designs, right? Like, wild. And then if you remember, the Morphin Masters that were mentioned in Mighty Morphin, they of course look different too, because
that's true. Yeah, they just look like cloak people, like in the original.
Yes.
You know, because it was like Sentai footage.
Right. Yeah.
And in the, I think they were in Beyond the Grid. I think in the comics that's where we got our first attempt at lore explanation for the Morphin Master.
Yeah.
Right. So like again, it's one of those things where we're gonna have to I'm gonna have to reread that at some point just to get some clarity.
A lot of lore in Power Rangers.
Which is cool. Like just the idea that like this season is encouraging like the long-term fans who've been following the shit to like even explore that is kind of interesting. Like, you know, because a lot of seasons they'll just touch on the base stuff, you know, like they'll reference Mighty Morphin, they'll reference the other Neo Saban seasons because those are the only ones that really matter to everybody. Maybe we'll get a little dash of Time Force in there, but it's like, you know, it was cool that they're encouraging us to like, you know, do our research. You know.
Oh, that's the feel, right? I mean, because you know, and this is why I'm always like at a constant butting of the heads with the direction, because it's just like, are you making it for the kids or are you making it for us? You know, because it's just like you say one thing online or you say one thing like, you know, in the public eye, but then you're doing all this other stuff. And it's like, which is it? Because I'm pretty sure none of these kids are going to freaking get any of these references or know who any of these people are. Like, I'm literally in season 1, when Zedd appeared, and I made the connection, when they didn't defeat him, right? When he just vanished.
Left, yeah.
I was like, oh my God, Zedd is the big bad. I was literally like, they don't have a big bad. Zedd is their big bad. Crazy.
Which is ridiculous. and it's like, it's ridiculous, but I also kind of, I like the idea, and like the fact that he's still a factor. Well, you know, I guess we're jumping ahead a little bit, but he's still a factor going into Cosmic Fury. That kind of is interesting, just on a series retrospective wave, because you know it's season 30. There's a lot of things on the table. Yeah. And having Zedd be at the forefront of that is kind of fascinating. Especially because like Zedd is like one of the big American creations, like one of the first, like, you know, he was kind of at the forefront of the American, like the things that differentiated Power Rangers from the Sentai. Really.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I mean, I think that's kind of cool. Yeah. You know, just on a general sense, but it is funny.
Yeah, like we're gonna talk more about Zedd later because I got some stuff to talk about relating to Zedd, but this next point I wanted to bring up was, I really did appreciate Izzy revealing her identity without flat out saying who she was. I thought that was really cool. That
was a great reveal. That was a great episode, honestly.
Yeah, no. It was. I thoroughly enjoyed that more than I expected, because like when it comes, and this goes with all like relationship situations in Power Rangers. It's never been a factor for me whether that makes the show better or not. You know what I'm saying? That is something like, and this goes all the way back from like Tommy and Kimberly. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, I was just like, I don't really care. Like, fight the bad guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff didn't really, you know, interest me or entice me any more so than what they were already showing me. You know what I'm saying? You know, on more fights, the Megazords, the struggles, the weapons, the suits. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what got me hooked. You know, but you know, we're watching this now, right? And Izzy is like everyone's like favorite character, and her and that whole episode was cool because it showed a side, or like it kind of like it brought back a situation that is very real. Because for those that don't remember or they forget, like watching this, like all of them are like seniors in high school still.
No, they're adults. She's a senior.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so she's still a senior with her girlfriend, and I forget her name. The girlfriend.
Fern.
Fern, that's it. Fern gets this opportunity to go off, to this nice college that's 6 hours away, right? And therein lies the struggle of a Power Ranger.
Of a superhero.
Of a superhero, nonetheless. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Even
that's a classic Peter Parker, shit right there.
Right there. Yup. That's what it is. And I was, when something makes you feel, that's how you know it's good. It did its job, right? And I felt. So I was like, oh, damn. Like, I actually feel sorry for Izzy. Like, this sucks. Like, she's going through what all these other superheroes have been going through, And then, like, they had a nice callback moment where, she told Fern that, she would think that, she would love her too or whatever. And then when she answered it, saying like, face to face, like, I love you too. And she was like, I never told you. And then she made the connection. I was like, all right, we're smart.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
It's like, for Power Rangers, like, it's definitely you could tell whoever wrote those scenes really gave a crap.
Yeah.
Because, it could have come off a certain way, but it felt appropriate and it didn't feel as like corny or forced. Like it felt, like a conversation.
Right. And that was such an awesome moment for them, because I feel like what I'm used to seeing in a lot of these superhero situations with relationships is like, they can't tell them who they are and they gotta send them off into the sunset, and then the superhero has to hold that L and suffer and be lonely, right? But Izzy over here, she cracked the code. She was able to tell her without telling her. And then that kind of, I feel like right in that moment, salvaged their relationship. Like, they don't have to break up, or that wasn't even a thing anymore. Like, she was like, oh, I heard they can teleport. No big deal. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I figured I'd jot that down just to give it some love.
The little line where she's like, may the power protect you, though. Like, on one hand, it was cool that she said that, but at the same time, she like yelled it off the train. So I'm like, yo, what if someone heard that? Like, I would have been like, oh.
Yeah.
But like text it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, like, dude, imagine someone like us that like
was being nosy.
that follows all this, right? And you'd be like, you make the connection,
like, she's wearing green.
Oh. Yes, dude, exactly. Oh my god, but Izzy's not the only female character here, right? Now this part, Amelia, dude, I did not think that they were gonna take it in this direction for Amelia, and I have to give it to them. Because everything else I was predicting, and like, just I was like, oh, I see where this is kind of going or whatever. And I was like waiting for certain things to happen. That was not one of those things where Amelia gets revealed to be a Rafkonian. And her parents, this I did not see as a result. Like, I saw it happening, but like, I'll be fair. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, no. Until I saw the folds kind of undoing themselves, I was like, oh shit.
Right?
I was like, oh, her parents are, oh, that's crazy. So again,
it was well done.
Yeah, see, like, Dino Fury had its really good moment where it was just,
and it's like, really, it was like one of the through lines of the entire series, which I think goes to show for this series compared to the other Neo Saban series, I feel like this show had a lot more consistency with its plot, and when all those pieces come together, you really see like they've been planting seeds. Like, I think that honestly, I started to get onto it when they had that episode about Zayto and Ion's like birthday or whatever, right? And they had the Flurkin cake, and they all had it, and the only people that enjoyed it were Zayto, Ion, and Amelia. Everybody else was like, "This is nasty," but Amelia was like, "This is delicious."
Yo, see, they got me. They got me good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give
See,
it.
and I like, cause I noticed it, but then I saw people on Twitter talking about it also, and then I started like theorizing a little bit more. But seeing it play out was still really satisfying because like it's one of those things where it's like if you're a kid watching that, like those are the type of story moments that you hang on to, where you're just like, yo, remember when you found out that like Amelia was Rafkonian or whatever, because. I guess when I think back to whatever the plot twists were for like, the series when we were younger, you're like just even something as simple as Tommy being the Green Ranger, and that whole saga where it's like it's simple in terms of the storytelling, but because of the drama that came with it, it became memorable. And I feel like this is one of those things that the younger audience will pick up on, but it's also satisfying because it had the effort. Again, I think that the key word for me with this season is like you could tell that there was effort put behind it.
Yeah.
Like regardless of the execution, because the execution obviously, like you said, is not perfect, but there was definitely like an element of effort there, and I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, yes, like that much, and that's the thing, like especially for something that I love so much, like Power Rangers, right? Like I love to be wrong. Like you see, like. Mm-hmm. I talk about this all the time with Dragon Ball on the Full Power podcast.
Yes.
Like, all the time. Please let me be wrong.
I mean, honestly, with anything, like wrestling recently, like, prove me wrong, please.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's true. That's super true. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. I even wrote Star Wars reference, LOL, because
I am your father or mother or whatever, both.
Now, yeah, so I will say this, as much as I enjoyed it, right? The whole, that was the thing. I feel like they could have even managed it a little better, though, too. Like, for what it was at face value, like us just talking about it, it was sick. It was probably one of the highlights of the series, or the season overall. Like, I say season, I include both of them, because we come from, Power Rangers one season.
The whole thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, like right when she knocked her dad, back to, right? Void Knight. Like it was so quick. Like there was no
Well, yeah, it was like you didn't have time to sit on it.
Yeah.
They didn't even really have time to have a moment, and it's like I can forgive that because I understand what was going on, but it was one of those things where that's kind of where the Neo Saban comes out a little bit. If you had to ask me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because when I think, if you think about the Disney era stuff, I feel like the Disney era stuff usually gave a little bit more time to those moments, even though it was about the same amount of episodes.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when they had to have a moment, they usually gave you that time to relish on the significance of something something dramatic like that.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying, because I when that happened, I was like, whoa, that's pretty insane. And then they just kept it moving.
They're like, we got a finale to get to. Let's go.
Yeah, that's how it definitely felt, and it came off. So I mean, and that's actually part of what I guess I'll bring up at the end, right? Because I definitely want to talk about what I think could possibly happen with Cosmic Fury, but we'll get to that. The other point I wanted to make, or rather a question, right, was, did the final green Morphin Master strike? I call it that because I totally forget what the actual weapon was called, but the sword that
with the sword.
Yeah, the sword that the green Morphin Master gave to them to use, and she mentioned that there's this final strike attack, and if you use it, you're done, right? Mm-hmm. So did she mention that it also used the power of all the Zords?
No.
Yeah, so That's what I figured.
I mean, at least if she did, then I missed that detail too. But I don't remember her saying anything about it, like absorbing the Zords into the sword.
Right. Yeah. See, that much I was gonna consider like an ass pull a little bit, just because
there was definitely a lot of I call them the Mcguffin Masters in the show. You know, real talk.
Yeah, because like I was expecting something like just different, right, than what they gave us. And what they gave us, I mean, it looked really cool. Like,
it was still cool, yeah. It was a cool, like, you know, sequence.
That was the spirit sword from Trunks. Yo,
I said the same thing. I swear to God, I was like, yo, that's the Trunks spirit sword.
Yeah, it was legit the spirit sword. Like, the size, the freaking strike in the air, everything. I was like, damn, someone likes that freaking Dragon Ball Super Goku Black arc, right?
Yep.
So, but yeah, I just want to throw that out there because I was just like, I mean, I guess I don't know, like I guess that might be nitpicking a little bit, but she made it just seem like it was just gonna be something that was purely from that sword, and then all of a sudden it turned into this big fiasco where all the Zords were there, and then they all combined they put all their energy into it, like a spirit bomb, right? And this shit, freaking ginormous, strikes down, and boom. Like, it does exactly, for 6 months, it does exactly what it intended to do. And it took out Neptunia, was that what her name was?
No, fuck.
I forget her name. It was
Centaura.
There we go.
Yeah.
Freaking Amelia's mama, right? Her mama Duke. But here's the funny part, right? So this strike was supposed to destroy that whole thing full of sporix and everything, right? But when you think about it, and when you see what happened, all it really did was it took her out. It didn't kill her. It just kind of, like it cracked her out of her like evilness. But then that whole big thing that they were fighting is still there, and it was her mom that took it out. What the hell?
It was kind of like it was like on the ground, but it was like disabled, but like he beat it, but he didn't beat it the way, like, not as definitively as I thought he was going to. But again, I guess like
that's
maybe
what I'm
they're trying to do
saying.
it for a moment, and I was just like, yeah, it was a little weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, man. Because I'm like, they hyped it up to be this big thing, and I'm like, what the hell is that thing still lingering around for? Like, if that.
After all that, no.
Right. Because this is a side note, right? And it's just so weird that it took me literally like 29 years worth of Power Rangers to realize that Megazords are busted by design, right? When you think about how strong the villains are standalone, it takes usually the whole team to beat them. But then when the monsters grow and the Zords are there, the Zords usually only need like one hit.
One hit, yeah, they be Oko and the villains.
Right, and it's
and granted, it's combined power, but still, it's like
it's a combined power, obviously. I mean, much similar to like how they do it on the ground level. But if
go
ahead.
No, I was gonna say sidebar. I forgot about this because this happened in Ryu Soldier, but they kept the scene in Dino Fury. But when Ion and Zayto took out the monster in like just regular, like, I guess they had their power-ups, like Zayto was using the Dino Knight armor, and Ion was using the Master mode or whatever. But they literally just took out a fully grown monster by themselves, which is like on paper is kind of cool, but it also makes you question that logic at the same time. It's just like, that's how did they do that? But either way, it was like fun to watch. But
so I mean, I have to bring that up, right? Because I had to be critical. Cause I'm just like, dude, you cannot tell me one thing and then show me something else. Like that was poorly executed because
I was ready for Centaura to be like she was a sacrifice. She had to die because everything went too far. You know.
That's what I'm saying. Like they made this sound like when it's used, anyone who's taking it and dishing it is gone. That's how it came off. Half of that happened for a time being. Right, and that's actually, it ties into the transition to my next point, right? Because Zayto, right, and I was like, you know, if he actually dies in this season, then that's kind of big. That's a big deal, okay? Because it's not too often, ever really, where we have a Red Ranger die in season, not outside, right? Not in real life, because obviously that's happened, unfortunately, but in season, where a leader kicks the bucket, right? So they have a time skip at the end of the finale, right? 6 months later, I was like, oh wow, okay, time skip. Everyone's, you know, they're rebuilding. The Rafkonians are basically like chilling in Dino Henge now with them and all that. And even Ali, my man, got his own freaking business.
Got some new hair.
Yep.
Oh wait, you mean Ion?
Ion, I said Ali.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, Ion.
So it's all good.
Right? And so then they get called back to the command center. I know it's not called that, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about. We're fucking OGs, all right? Forgive us. Anyway.
They're all the command centers.
They're all fucking command centers, guys. Let's be real. All the henchmen, those are putties. All right, let's okay. All right. I'm glad we established that, all right? So then there's like this ghost that starts forming, and I'm like, oh my god, is he really coming back now? Like, dude, think about this, right? How cool would it have been if they let him die, and if they were gonna bring him back, have him fucking surprise us in Cosmic Fury? Even if it was predictable, just...
See, I agree with you there, though. According to Simon Bennett, the only reason that whole ending played out the way it played out is because they didn't know that Cosmic Fury was going to be a thing at the time of filming. So they filmed it as if that was the last episode, period.
And I could feel that. I could totally feel that.
So in that regard, but like knowing, but you know, you can't really change that for us at this point, right?
Right.
Knowing what we knew going into it, it does feel like one of those things where it would have been so dope if we kind of had this like pseudo cliffhanger where it's like, what's gonna happen? You know, like they still exist, they're still out there, they're missing their leader. Question mark. You know, it's like when Optimus Primal died at the end of Beast Wars season 1. It's like, what's gonna happen?
Oh, yeah.
But
so like, so with that now, right? But see, here's the thing, guys, right? He doesn't just come back as the Dino Fury Red Ranger. He's all in white now. He keeps the red helmet.
Right? Like, how sick would it have been if it was just white? Like, that's one thing where I was like, you couldn't even just color match that. Just give him a white, like a pseudo white helmet, and you know, with a red visor or something.
And here's what I wrote down. Right? Are they trying to make Zayto the new Tommy? Right? Because when I saw that, and I was like, you know, doing my thought, my processing and all that stuff in my head, I was like, okay. So, and I'm like, and listen, nobody is ever going to outdo the legacy that Tommy Oliver has. Okay, like that's definitive. All right. So again, the fact that Dino Fury is trying to establish themselves and their legacy going forward into the future Power Rangers, I respect that, and I rock with that 100%. That's what I've been asking for. I was like, I need all these seasons to just be themselves. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, because this is like the 29th season, going into the 30th season, they're literally going into the 30th season. Like, they're also hitting a lot of, like, paying a lot of homage, like, points, right? And, like, kind of borrowing a lot of different themes or just things that have happened in the past in, you know, the history of Power Rangers, kind of like a callback in a sense. And so, you know, Tommy didn't die. However, Budai did, right? In Zoo Ranger, except he didn't come back.
Yeah,
they did not in Zoo Ranger when they went to fucking Die Ranger afterwards. There was no Kiba.
Different.
Yeah, Kiba Ranger was not Budai. Nope. He was a kid. You might as well call him fucking Justin. All right.
Yeah, he's the OG. Justin,
he's the OG Justin. Yeah. So now I'm looking at this, right? I'm like, wow. So and I highly doubt this was intentional. If this was the thought process where they're literally like, oh yeah, so if we have the leader die, but then he comes back as like he's still clearly still the leader, but now he's the White Ranger. If that's what's happening, bro, that is Tommy. That's how you start off a Tommy right there.
Yeah, because then the kids optimally would be like, yo, that's crazy. Like like he gets ascended to a different level of like, you know, power or whatever. Like just mentally. And I do think it's like oh no,
all I was gonna say was like it also brings a lot more questions to the table as far as Zayto's concerned, because, well, not for anything, but as hype as this is, right, that he's back and whatever, he's the new White Ranger. They didn't even call him the White Ranger. They didn't even acknowledge that his whole shit was different, right? And then,
but he said he has new powers. He basically said the only explanation we got was he got new powers from the Morphin Masters.
Right, which at first, 6 months prior, when they're over there begging, yo, please bring him back. You helped us out before. Help us again. And they go, sorry, we can't. Yeet. Like, no. Like, they literally just, and they dip. They peace out. One of the wackest, I'm like, what? This part, inconsistent. I'm like, come on. What are we doing? Like, you guys had something and then boom.
In my head, I'm like, now that they know that they're doing another season, I would like, it would be cool to me if Cosmic Fury starts with Zedd's breakout.
Right? Yes.
Like, if to me, if you wanna get my attention right away at the beginning of Cosmic Fury, show me how Zedd broke out, and show me how the Morphin Masters brought Zayto back to life, and give a little bit more context there. How do you feel about the suit?
All right.
We talked a little bit about it, but it was a little controversial.
I'll give you my opinion on the suit right now, because I wanted to bring this up anyway, right? At first, right, because the red helmet throws it all off, and the fact that the rest of it is like all white, like you said, they should have just matched the color. Or, you know, have the mainly white, but like, you know, tint the red somewhere to kind of like as a memory or something, like a callback to how he was a Red Ranger first, right? Fine, do that. But no, they didn't. I thought that as soon as I saw the white and the cape, like when he started to form.
You thought it was Zen Kaiser, didn't you?
Bro, I was like, they're not doing this. They're not doing this. I was like, okay.
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought at first.
Yeah. I thought that he was about to just be the Zenkaiger, bro. Like, I was like, are you serious? I was like, they're not about to do this. But no, they didn't. And honestly, if they did that, I don't know if I would have been more accepting of it, because then that just begs way more questions.
That's a can of worms.
Yeah.
That's a can of worms right there. Like,
that's the best way to put it.
I think they went the right direction, because Zenkaiger in general is like weird for me.
I didn't even finish it.
Like, you know, I know some people liked it a lot. I thought it was like okay, but the like Zenkaiger himself is very like referential to Sentai's that never came out here. So it doesn't hit the same. So them going with an American original is interesting. I guess if I had any criticism of the suit, it's like, why couldn't you have used like the cape from the Morphin or from that master mode, right? And make that white instead, because for whatever reason the shoulder pads and the cape, they don't hit right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the mask and the suit being discolored is kind of weird too, but like it's like for me, like shoulder pad, like when you're gonna do the shoulder pads on a ranger, that it has to hit.
It does,
you know, because like shoulder pads like have a legacy in Power Rangers at this point.
Yeah.
And like even with like Dino Thunder Black, like even though the shoulder pads were like very like minimal, it still fits with the aesthetic of the suit, and it grows on you. And granted, like, you know, we've only seen the suit once, but I feel like for whatever reason, I don't feel like this is what we're gonna have permanently still. Like, I feel like we might still see changes.
I hope so.
I'm hopeful. Maybe that's just me being hopeful.
For that suit's sake, I really hope so, because, like, listen, talk about no effort. Like, we're literally here praising the effort put into some of the elements in Dino Fury, and this was one of those missed things. Like, that shit, like, it did not hit at all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
The first time I saw that suit, I was like, I kind of, you know, hate to say it, I thought it was ugly.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not appealing.
I had to look at it for a while to like even, you know, just level with them and be like, you know what, I get it, but it wasn't right. It wasn't White Ranger. It wasn't when the first time you see that Die Ranger, you know, suit. And you're like, yo, what is that? Like, it wasn't that.
It wasn't that at all. So yeah, so the next point that I wrote down here, I actually started already talking about it a little bit, was Morphin Masters always changing their minds and the rules. Zayto died and will be a part of y'all wherever the grid touches, they said, right? And then, so is Zedd being freed a big enough threat to bring him back to life? Like,
Mcguffin Masters.
Bro, that's
it. I'm telling you, bro.
They're like, it's crazy.
Like, I love that they added them and made them an important fixture in the series, but I feel like just overall, like the way that they use them, and even using them to, because we didn't talk about this yet, but using the Morphin Masters to like explain the unexplainable things that happened in previous seasons,
I appreciate
is also a can of worms. Because like I appreciate it, right? Because like it explains how like Devin was able to get in contact with Jason and the Beast Morphers crossover, and how people were able to get their powers back. Yeah. Oh my god. Hey. Yo. Oh my god. That thing got 6 heads. Oh, it's terrible. But like explaining the legendary battle, right? And I guess that explains how you could have like ZO5 and Green Ranger there at the same time, right? Because that makes no sense. But like, you open up a can of worms, because then there's other things where it's like, well, you know, the Zordon wave, like basically like any unexplainable things, like I guess you could say that the reason why Kendrix came back to life at the end of Lost Galaxy is because of the Morphin Masters too, right? And honestly, there's a lot of like similarities between how Zayto came back and how Kendrix came back. Because when you see, like, if you ever watch the end of Lost Galaxy and you see Kendrix kind of just like come back out of nowhere, it was clearly just for a happy ending type of moment. And that's kind of what they did with Zayto here, which is like, again, like you were saying, like little references to previous seasons. I don't know if it was intentional, but that's kind of what my mind went to.
Yeah, I mean, even with I'm glad you brought up Kendrick, right? Because like the way I remember Lost Galaxy, because I haven't seen it in years. Last time I actually watched it from start to finish was when all the seasons were on Netflix. So when I had like my grand binge session of watching every season in order from start to finish back in like 2012.
2010. Yeah, it was like 2010, 2011, 2012.
So like when that happened, bro, I was watching Power Rangers like all the time. And it's literally pretty much been a decade since I've seen Lost Galaxy from start to finish. So when I remember seeing that, all I remember was they defeated who they needed to defeat, and then Kendrick just comes back.
Yeah, that's basically what happens. Like they beat Trakina, they're celebrating at the end, like, oh, I wish Kendrick could be here, and then she just forms out of the sky.
Right.
And like they didn't say it, but you could just be like, well, I guess it was the Morphin Masters, because if the Morphin Masters did all this other stuff, then I guess the Morphin Masters did that too. And any unexplained thing that happened in Power Rangers, like why did my dude in Megaforce go from black to green? It's the Morphin Masters. I don't know. I just, like that's basically all it is nowadays. Cause remember he like, what's his name? He was like, oh, there's a simple explanation for that. Yes, there is. It's the Mcguffin Masters.
Right, Mcguffin friggin' Masters, freaking.
So, and again, it's like I'm not even gonna hate on them too much for that, because at this point, 30 years deep, like maybe they've earned it, a McGuffin machine. But it's also like, again, like you have to. It's a slippery slope. Once you start messing with like stuff like this,
yeah,
you open the doors for a lot of conversations to kind of like be revisited in ways that could be positive or negative. But luckily, like at least the older fans just seem to get it and just like run with it. And it's like the only people who are taking it too seriously are like the ones who take everything too seriously. And it's like it's funny, but it's you just can't think about it too hard. That's all it is. But it still was like, okay, you're just doing stuff now, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, even bringing tying Kendrick into like the Zayto stuff, right? Like, at least with Zayto, it seems like there was a reason why they brought him back.
Yes, that's true.
Kendrick's, it was just like,
she's just back.
Here's a present. Like,
I'm alive. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, I guess the grander point that I'm trying to make is the Morphin Masters, at least the Dino Fury version, are just weird as shit. Like at first they come off as these higher deity beings that are just literally like above everybody, right? That of course they're not allowed to get involved. Because of course they're not. That's just how it goes. The angels, gods of destruction, it's all the fucking same, right? So, but then of course, they get involved. And then when they get involved, things just get weirder. Because then they start to show their true colors, and now they're like, okay, now they're butting heads? Now they're changing rules? Like, what is happening? Like, it's like, is there like a hierarchy of Morphin Masters now? Like how long have they been in power, right? Where they're out here not even
they're
functional.
Still figuring shit out.
Yeah, because it like you have to think like, wow, that's crazy. You have the Morphin Master, like it's supposed to be the Power Rangers that are supposed to have the butting of the heads, the dysfunction. They're supposed to be the ones that are growing and dude.
The Morphin Masters had a lesson of the day.
What? No, I like that, dude.
Yo, and then the other crazy part too? Zedd was like, he's so strong in Dino Fury that the Morphin Masters feel like they need to come into play to mess with him. That's I don't know if that is good for Zedd or bad for the Morphin Masters. I kind of like that they've elevated Zedd a little bit more to make him more of a threat again, because let's be real here, right? After the whole love with Rita arc happened, Zedd's like fear factor went down,
right? And
he became a joke,
right?
For all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
It wasn't until recently in the comics we started to get more backstory on Zedd, and they did a lot to fix him there. But now, like, Dino Fury Zedd is like super OP.
Well,
to the point where the Green Morphin Master almost lost the beam struggle with him.
Yo, and that's what I'm saying, dude. That is my point, right? These Morphin Masters are not like the Morphin Masters. Like
maybe, yeah. Like maybe there's like previous Morphin Masters.
There has to be, bro. I can't listen. These are not my Morphin Masters. All right, they can't be, because the way I have been, like, the way I've understood the Morphin Masters, the idea behind the Morphin Masters is like, they should just be able to just body anybody. Like, the reason why they don't get involved is because there would be no balance, right? At least that's the idea, but that's not what happens. So the other thing the other point that ties into this point that I didn't even write down is that this Zedd, let's remind folks, was brought back from his prime state. Like this is prime Zedd, but now with the muscles, right?
Yeah.
So he's beefed Zedd, buffed, brolic Zedd, Broly Zedd, whatever you want to call him.
Battle for the grid.
Dude, the fact that we saw him almost take out a Morphin Master, the fact that he's the big bad, he is the actual big bad. He is essentially the big bad in Cosmic Fury.
He's the big bad of the franchise, if you think
of the franchise, bro.
Like if they're gonna cap it off with him as the big bad, which we still have to wait and see, but as of right now, that's what we have to go off of.
Right.
That's kind of crazy.
All I'm gonna say is that this makes Dino Fury as a whole nerfed. Like super, like Zedd's existence and what he's done so far has, and this is probably gonna be a big pill to swallow for people. This makes everything, all the cool shit that Dino Fury has done, drops down a few notches. Cause they're not that strong, after all. Like, call a spade
compared to Zedd.
Yeah, no, cause Zedd, dude.
Cause like he destroyed a planet, almost destroyed Earth, because their plan to stop him from destroying Earth failed, and the Morphin Masters had to. I think like real talk, that part could have been handled a bit differently.
Yeah.
Because and just for the sake of preserving the team, right? Because like technically speaking, right? Like Zayto and Ion especially have more experience than the Mighty Morphin team did when they took on Zedd.
Technically, yes, that's true, because they're older, right?
They're older. They've been Rangers for a long time. So technically, it's not like they are inexperienced, but they made Zedd so powerful that the Morphin Masters have to get involved, which is like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea that they made Zedd so powerful, but like when you really think about it, it's like, damn, like how did Zedd get so powerful? And what does that say about the Dino Fury team in general?
I'm saying.
I don't know, but I guess like, and if you really get down to it, like technically, did the Mighty Morphin Rangers beat him? No.
Yes.
Like, what if we're being real? Rita's the one who beat Zedd.
And then the one
Rita beat Zedd.
And the one who wiped him, Andros.
Andros, yeah.
Our boy from KO 35.
35.
All right. So there's a few more points left, right? So, and on the topic of the Morphin Masters, where the fuck were the other three at the end?
Yeah, the like yellow, black. Because we saw red, green, blue.
Yeah, so
but not yellow, black, pink. I guess they're just off doing Morphin Master. Yeah, just I guess they're just doing Morphin Master stuff in space.
And that's the thing.
Because like, and that's the thing. Like, so next time we have this discussion, I'm definitely gonna have to go on the wiki and reread some stuff, because like, I remember reading in the Power Rangers universe stuff, I know that they had like delegated certain tasks to each of them, but again, I don't remember if they're supposed to be the Morphin Masters or the emissaries.
Right.
But either way, if that's what the whole deal is, where they became the Morphin Masters, then each Morphin Master has their own task, and it also proves your theory right. Like if they were supposed to be the Morphin Masters in Power Rangers universe, then they are different, because in the comic, Green was a boy, but in Dino Fury, Green is girl.
Right.
So that would mean that in some point between Power Rangers universe and these Morphin Masters, they changed hands at some point, which, again,
how the fuck does that work?
But that's something I have to cross-reference. But yeah, right. It's like like you're saying, can of worms.
And a freaking worms, right? So yeah, because I'm just like, because you know, my thought process is like, okay, I feel like they would always be like going around as a unit, you know, with the exception of the green one being the one that's, you know, been
the rogue,
you know, doing all this shit on her own because she's trying to look out and all that stuff, right? But so this next point, right? Now, and this is another thing that I have to call out, because if you notice, and this has to do with Zedd. So remember when Zedd like fled and he made it a point to be like, I'm gonna go find my staff.
Yeah.
We never actually see where he got it back from.
But we know where he got it.
Well, so here's the thing. I remember last seeing his staff in Beast Morphers.
In Grid Battle Force, yeah.
Yeah. But is that what was believed? Because I do remember like he pulled up and messed them up or whatever.
Yeah, because like I think the episode where Commander Shaw,
yeah, they called them on Skype, right?
Yeah, she was like, hey, like we're being attacked by a whole bunch of monsters. You see the Beast Morphers team fighting off some monsters. That's where Zedd got his staff back. They just didn't show it, but it's implied.
Man,
like, and it's one of those things. So it's like we know, because like that's just like putting thing and thing together, but they should have shown it. Like because it really would have been a lot to just have him show up and be like, hey, I'm getting my staff. Unless like the only like production wise reason that I could think of is maybe they didn't have the set from Beast Morphers recreated, so they just had to, you know, use what they had, or just like, you know, skip a piece, or maybe they cut it out of the episode. I don't know, like maybe it's like a deleted scene. But again, it's like it's one of those things where you have to start doing logic leaps, and I just would have liked to see that. It would have been cool to see Zedd go up, beat the hell out of Devin and you know, everybody, and take the, you know, because that's some universe building stuff too, where it's like if you see the old team get beat by somebody, then that raises the stakes for the current team.
And
you're like, oh,
about that, great point. Where was the team up episode? It didn't fucking happen. And that is a humongous dropping off point, because it was right there. When I heard Grid Battle Force, I was like, I also thought, side note, I was like, it's crazy how they can't even call themselves the Beast Morpher Rangers, because that's a tongue twister and it sounds terrible. But they got called themselves Grid Battle Force.
Battle Force Ranger, which is cool.
Right, yeah. They just, might as well just call it Power Rangers Grid Battle Force. Fuck it, I don't know, right? But dude, they get this poor actress, Commander Shaw, reprise her role for a Skype call. And you mean to tell me that dude, the setup was right there. They had his dude, because think about it. Beast Morphers, they didn't even explain how the fuck they had all these random weapons. Like, why was Zedd's staff even a thing? Like, you would have thought.
Why did they have they had literally stuff from every Ranger team.
Everything, dude. That was something I did not like about Beast Morphers.
That's a McGuffin. That was a McGuffin room. Again, you know, and granted, it's like it made for some interesting situations, but it definitely was like, it was pandering.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it, but it was pandering.
Listen.
But like I think so. Technically, I think it's because like the Commander Shaw's actress is from New Zealand or something, so that's why they were able to get her. And like, you know, we know COVID was happening in its height as they were doing this series, so I get why they couldn't get anyone from Beast Morphers. You know, I guess part of me would have been cool if they just did the suit actors with the voiceovers. You know, kind of like what they did with the Dino Fury. I mean, the Dino Charge Rangers that couldn't come back.
Right.
You know, they could have at least got a couple of them to, like, you know, say a couple lines and do like a mini team up. But that being said, like, I guess you know, I'm not mad at them for not having one. Like,
oh, I am.
But like, it would, like, I feel like every season that has a team up feels like it's just better just on the base level, right? You know, like it amplifies a season usually, unless the team up is terrible. But even then, like even if it's not terrible, you still get the payoff or like the connection there.
Yo, but think about it.
That episode was like a layup. That episode was a layup for a team up, and you didn't get it, so it's a little.
That's
sad.
what I'm saying. Like it was all right there. Like it was bad enough that Beast Morphers had all these weapons, and clearly a staff that technically shouldn't have even been like in form, because Zedd got wiped, and the staff was gone. So where the fuck did the staff go? It like disappeared. It disintegrated. It just faded away. Classified itself as obsolete. You know what I'm saying? It was gone. Now all of a sudden it just put a pretty Beast Morphers. Okay, clearly that was a plant, like you said, to pander, to get us to be like, whoa, why is that? You know what I'm saying? It gets hype, all that shit. Okay, so now make use of it. Since you freaking had to ass pull it in Beast Morphers, they could have had, just like you said, we could have had a whole scene where it was Zedd just fucking up Beast Morphers. And honestly,
but to be fair, that setup, like, you know, in a perfect world, it is a great setup for a team up episode.
Yes,
because Zedd goes to Grid Battle Force to get his staff. He fights the Beast Morphers, beats them. They're like, what's going on? Then Commander Shaw contacts the Dino Fury Rangers. They go to help Beast Morphers. They help him recover, be like, hey, Zedd's trying to get the staff, or he got the staff or whatever. They have a skirmish. They team up. They don't even have to win.
They don't
fully, but they like maybe they fight. You know, maybe Zedd like uses his staff to create, you know, maybe he could, you know, like resurrect, you know, something with his staff, right? Like, you know, not Serpentera again, but like, let's say
one of like their villains or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, like one of their villains or something, right?
Might as well.
You know, like that, like, you know, obviously that's like that would have been a layup for a team up. But
dude, if it's one thing I hate in Power Rangers, it's missed opportunities. I have missed opportunities everywhere. But dude, when it, like, listen, Power Rangers, for some reason, it just stings a little bit more, because it's like, yeah, I'm used to what I'm used to. I'm also used to a season just running through the fucking year, right? Like, I'm never gonna get over that, and I'm always gonna call that out, because I'm like, I don't like this quarter break, call it season 2, no, it is all one thing. That's it, right? And I don't like, I like, as a kid, and even now, it always bothered me when I watched a season, and that was one of the things that I always used to look forward to, was the team up, because the team up episodes were so fun, and they were awesome. They were so cool just to see all those Rangers. Like, that shit is godlike. And to not have it, like, dude, I didn't even, Beast Morphers, it was like, that was a mess of a show. There was things I liked about it, but I don't care, because as a fan, if I'm seeing two teams try to fight Zedd, of all people, come on, man. Like, that shit would have been awesome. Then that also would have been the opportunity to actually see Steel's like actual human actor like reprise himself outside of just the finale that they had over there, and
because they reference him a lot in the show, because I think Izzy is a fan of the show that he acts in.
Right. And you know what? I'm just like, hold on.
So that would have been like a fun dynamic, you know?
Yeah, like, dude, like look, like, see? You're just making it worse. Like, in the sense that they really, this is a big ass missed opportunity. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. Like,
I mean, real talk. Like, I feel, honestly, I feel like if COVID didn't happen, we would have got it.
I hope so. I hope that's the case.
That's the only like McGuffin I know, because like I know that when they were, because I remember like following them as they were filming it, and they were like, you know, it was like during the height of like when lockdown was like serious, and New Zealand was like the only place where things were clean, so New Zealand was being like extra finicky about who could come in and out of the country. So like I'm empathetic, and that's the only reason I'll give it. But I'm with you because the more that we talk about it, the more I'm getting salty. Where I'm just like, yo, that episode would have been fire. Like, but real talk, like if you think about all the crossovers that we've had thus far, narratively, this one had the most weight and impact and build up, and it would have been fire.
Exactly.
Like, it would have been cool.
Right. Like
because like
played into
Grid
the story.
Connection was because Grid Connection kind of they tried to lead into it, and but like the team up that they had prior to Grid Connection with just the Dino Charge Rangers was better to me because it felt like it had more of like a natural flow to it.
Right.
Whereas like Grid Connection, like they
just threw it in there.
McGuffin everything. Yeah, they just and then not having any of the actors from like Dino Thunder felt a little weird. It's like I get it, like because two of the actors from Dino Thunder aren't really like trying to get cool with those people, with the not the actor, like they don't have beef, but I think they have beef with the production of or it's one of those things where they're trying to like distance themselves from Power Rangers a little bit. So you could get Ethan, but like again, it's like one of those things where they probably couldn't fit him in the budget. So they're like, hey, who's the priority? Jason's a priority, and then the Dino Charger Rangers are probably easy to get, with the,
with all these freaking toys that they sell, you'd think they'd have a freaking budget. But no.
I wish.
It's always a guy, whatever.
Yeah. It's
freaking
it's a mess.
Sucks. But
yeah, like it would have been nice, man. Like I definitely like I'm gonna be fantasy booking that episode like in my head canon from now on now. Like,
yep.
Maybe we'll get a comic about that one day, whenever they start fleshing out more than just MMPRs. Like they have a lot of ammo.
Yeah, I mean, they really do. They probably have a lot more than they realize. I mean, it's like they make attempts, but like look what happens. They miss.
Mm-hmm. Like speaking of like comic adaptation or like potential, right? Who I feel like could like be interesting if they introduce them in the comics, and this is like somewhat separated, but the Rafkon Warriors and stuff like that, I feel like those characters are ripe for showing up in the comics. You know what I'm saying? Because they were like holding, because they were holding their own with the monsters, like beating their ass. Like they had like like those are the types of characters where I could imagine them being fleshed out and given more like depth in an extended universe, like with the comic, because that's kind of what they're doing with some of the other Power Rangers ideas. So it was just one of those things when I was watching it, I was like, I could see them being adapted somehow.
So here's the thing, that's a good point, because that would be really cool. The thing is though, in the story, in the canon, they would have been in hiding.
Yeah, they shouldn't show up in the comics yet, but I guess I just mean like whenever they do, like,
yeah.
Whenever they get far enough into the timeline where it would make sense.
But and when you mean Rafkon Warrior, you're definitely referring to like the elite versions, not like the putty Rafkonians. Like
I mean like the girl
like that one
with
chick,
the blue hair,
right,
and her team or whatever.
Right.
Because like again, like they were beating the monsters.
Yeah, they were holding their own. Yeah.
So it's like on paper, it's like like that type of thing is like cool. Cool for lore expansion one day, like if they need to.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. All right. So I have 2 more points left. I know this is a long one, but I feel like this is kind of warranted for this one. So here's a thought, or here's a question first, right? And then a potential answer, because I mean, if we're gonna talk rumors, then this one might actually make sense when you think about it. So how did Zedd get freed? Who freed Zedd? Here's my idea. Drakkon.
Yo, don't do this to me, man. Don't do this to me. You can't do that, because now that sounds too good, because he's out, like, as far as we know, he's out there. And that would be crazy.
Yo, okay.
That would be crazy.
Think about it, right? Think about it.
If the show did Drakkon, bro.
Listen, dude.
No,
dude. This is the time. This is the time. They won't ever get another chance. If they do, it would be like the fucking Jason episode that they did, Beast Morphers. Okay, it would be just throw them in there type shit. It wouldn't even be a two-parter, just like the Jason episode. Okay, so here we go. Right, here's my scenario. Well, here's my logic based on like what's known versus rumor. What's known is that they have Zedd captured in a containment with no real way to get out, because you would think if he's being held by the fucking Morphin Masters, then there's realistically like he's done, right? But no, he escaped. He was freed. And so the Morphin Masters didn't even know what else to do outside of just bring Zayto back. So that's a whole bag of worms, because like, is Zayto like part Morphin Master now? Like that's a whole episode.
Which they'll have to explain. Yeah, it's like, how has he changed?
Yeah, right. Does he get some crazy like Gokaiger powers too? Like, is he like an emissary? Like, like that's a rabbit hole, right? But we're not talking about fucking Zayto right now. We're talking about Drakkon, right? Because this ties into the rumors that for Cosmic Fury, we will see Jason David Frank amongst other returning Rangers from the past, right? And obviously, Tommy as a character has returned several times throughout this Nickelodeon era of Power Rangers. He showed up in the series that must not be named, okay? The legendary war that was definitely not fucking legendary, but we tried to cover it up with the Green Morphin Master, okay? Right? It was because of her, guys. It's a band-aid, right? Right.
Sure, yeah.
Whatever, okay? Then they rectify that by giving us Dimensions in Danger. That was an episode that literally had really no place out. Like, it didn't do anything to the story. It was like what, the 25th anniversary, and they needed to do something. So what better thing to do than to give Tommy his own episode? Because this guy deserves it, right? And I'm not complaining. I was all for that fucking episode.
It was fire.
That episode goes up with Forever Red, okay?
I wouldn't say all that.
No, like up there, up there, in the realm of the best episode.
It's in a discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? Because for so many reasons I won't get into, right? But he was there, all right? And so now, here we are. They just had a dinosaur team, and my man was, on a dinosaur team.
A couple of them.
A couple of them, right? And Dino Fury had no, outside of like flashbacks, nobody, because pandemic and all that crap, right? Unfortunate, right? I feel like Cosmic Fury is gonna make up for all of that, those lost opportunities, I hope. And one of those things, on top of when they get him, because we know he'll be there, okay? This guy is Tommy Oliver. Jason David Frank, he is Tommy Oliver, okay? Anytime he has the opportunity to play himself, he does it, whether it's official or non-official. Go look up the Bat in the Sun Johns, where he fought Ryu, where he fought Scorpion. It's him, okay? So here we go. Cosmic Fury. The Morphin Masters, who struggled against Zedd, have him captive. He's clearly not getting out. Who better? You introduce Lord Drakkon in the fucking television show for the first time.
You know how crazy that would be? Because, like, as of right now in the comics, at least,
yeah,
he's a factor that's out there. He has his powers back, and he's with those vampire people.
Yo,
so, I forgot what they're called.
I forget what they're called too.
If again, Cosmic Fury starts, Morphin Masters are guarding Zedd. Then you see a ship pull up it's Drakkon with those vampire people, and he breaks Zedd out. That would be a way, like. Okay, I'm getting too excited now because like I don't think this is gonna happen, but Jesus Christ, how great! Like that would be so sick.
That would be
just like
awesome.
From a speculation standpoint, like I'm not gonna play myself, but I also feel like that would be such an ill way to start the season because it automatically raises the stakes and like it makes what happened at the end of Dino Fury more, like it gives it more context,
Right.
And it also ties into this 30th anniversary. Like if we're gonna bring the one of the greatest American villains and then another one of the greatest American villains that's recent, that's never been introduced in the show with a fan favorite actor, because you could bring back Tommy because again, so early in the chat, remember we were kind of speculating of like, okay, so if they were to bring back Tommy and Kat and Rocky, right, and hopefully Johnny and
please
Mia as well,
please
right? If you're gonna bring basically like, because all those people, what they share in common, they're the Zeo team, they were part of the MMPR team as well, but generally speaking, that's like they're kind of like leaning towards the Zeo stuff, and they and Dino Fury also like alluded to like people with crystal powers, or what if people like could they help, right? So again, so you could bring back Tommy to he could reference his Zeo stuff, and he has his Master Morpher, so he could do whatever he needs.
Exactly.
But if you got JDF there, just do Drakkon because he's both of them.
Yo, and let me tell you, it would not be his first time playing multiple characters in the same shit, because in Dimension in Danger he played Lord Draven.
Draven. No, he wasn't Draven, but the enemy was Draven.
Oh, the enemy, right.
He was like the mechanical version. He was like an evil mechanical version, and then,
right. He was the.
But this dude has been fighting himself for decades.
That's my point.
He fought himself in MMPR when they took his hair and made the Green Ranger back again, right? He fought himself when he was fighting for his life in Dino Thunder. And then he fought himself here too. So, just keep it going. Just like,
dude, just let it happen.
Eternal struggle.
Dude, listen. There's, okay. Obviously, if Tommy is here, if JDF as an actor is here, there's so many things that they can do. And I truly believe that having Drakkon be the person that freed Zedd is crazy. That would do so, dude. That would do so many things, because not only
people would get hyped, yo.
Yeah,
because all those people that watched the promo for
the comics, yup.
Because remember, they did the movie for that. All those people from who saw the promo from the comic would be like, "Yo, he's coming back."
They're gonna. I would guarantee you, if that happens, people would go back to that video, and that video would get way more views, because that was only a promotional little mini movie thing that they did. They literally filmed that with Tommy as Drakkon. That's the only time we've ever seen him as Drakkon. Unlike in like an IRL type situation.
Yeah.
And they could have been gods. Like that fucking line. And then on top of that, the only time you ever hear him doing lines for Drakkon is Battle for the Grid. Shout outs, right? So I think that would be godlike. And look, bonus moment. Listen, we saw it in a picture, but let it happen here. And I'm sure people will be behind this one. If Izzy stays as green and he fucking gives her the dragon shield, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I love Izzy. I love Tommy. Tommy did that off show.
To multiple characters.
Well, yeah, but like the one I'm thinking of is, I don't remember his name, but the Samurai Green Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
Samurai Green. They took a picture. It didn't happen in the show.
Yeah, I remember. It was like a side thing.
Yeah, they just did it just because they were probably fucking around on the set, right? And they were just having fun with it, which is dope. And and then you brought up JJ from the Soul of the Dragon graphic novel one shot.
which is further in the future.
Way further in the future, yeah. So like,
speaking of further in the future, I think in canon we're only like 1 or 2 years before
SPD.
Yeah. But anyway, so
yeah, that's that. We can talk about it in another episode, right?
Yeah. That's another episode.
But yeah, give me Drakkon. Let him be the one to imagine if like if bringing Drakkon back means that like that's like consistent Tommy, like Dino Thunder consistent. Like, bro, that's awesome. I'm all for it. Give me that. Give me that. I need that. More excuse to see my man. Like, I'm in there. Okay.
That's too good. That's like almost too good.
Yeah, cause I'm like
of an explanation.
Yeah, cause think about it, right? I'm like, and the greatest part is like I thought of that in like 2 seconds. I was like, oh shit, Drakkon.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah, he's a factor.
Right. Because honestly, if you try to put anyone else in that situation of how like Zedd got out, anyone else, it wouldn't make sense or it would be lackluster. Like because
you can make up a character, right? And
oh yeah,
it doesn't hit the same.
No, it doesn't hit the same at all. It would be dumb. Like I would actually be like, I would be tight if it ends up being the slime girl, the slime freak.
Oh, Mucus.
I would be tight if it was Mucus, because we see a little tease that she's obviously still alive. You know, she was funny. You know, I enjoyed her comedy when she had a line.
There's another character I saw people saying was still alive too. I forgot his name, but he's like, you know, he was like there for a couple of episodes. I think he was there when they were on Rafkon, but allegedly he's still alive. Like there's like a villain who's still on the table, but like he wasn't a major villain at all. So it's like, again, just going to your point, it would be lame if it was like just somebody that is not easily recognizable or meaningful, you know?
Right. And then I was like, oh, like they wouldn't do some bullshit like, oh, it was Rita. No, she's done. She's not even around. Like that wouldn't make sense.
Well, they in canon, she's already turned good. She's like the Mystic Mother.
Yeah. So it's just like, dude, who like, it would like you said, if it was someone else, like new character, it wouldn't hit the same. If it was someone that was familiar, it definitely wouldn't hit. Something like a Drakkon, bro. That's the best situation. That's the best scenario right there. Please do that.
Simon Bennett, if you hear this, please. You know, I know you got your plan. You know, you guys are starting production soon.
Yeah.
But you know, make something happen. You know, even if you gotta, you know, like
make a few pivots.
Yeah, just like, you know, change, you know, last minute changes. I don't know, but I'm gonna be fantasy booking that for the rest of the week probably.
Yep. Yeah, like
it's too good.
It's too good that if it doesn't happen, it's just gonna be like whatever they do is just like, all right, this whatever. Like
I'll still give them, you know, if they can make it work, you know, that's great.
Yeah.
That's what I hope whatever they do, they make it work.
Right. No, I agree.
That's the best we could hope for.
Last thing is, and we kind of talked about this already, but I guess just to wrap up this episode here, that there was no actual setup to Cosmic Fury. And I was like wondering, like, was the decision to keep the cast or story direction decided late in production? Which it kind of feels that way, because like you were mentioned already, like they didn't really know what was happening post Dino Fury, and then they like filmed that and they just kind of threw it in there at the end, and then it ended the way that it ends with them like, oh yeah, Zedd broke free, we gotta go see what's up. All right. Right, they do the pose and then end of the episode, end of Dino Fury, and that's it. Like
so
I was expecting that finale to be more along the lines of Turbo into Space.
Yeah, where it's like, you know, oh, like to be continued.
A true cliffhanger. Because that was not a cliffhanger. That was
like a pseudo cliffhanger.
Yeah, like,
you know, but it ended on a happy note. Whereas like when Turbo ended, that was like, I'll never forget where I was when I saw the ending of Turbo. I still like I still vividly remember sitting on that couch where you see the spaceship going on. It said to be continued in Power Rangers in space.
Yup.
And I was like, what? They're going to space like this? Like it was, so it wasn't that.
Nope.
But yeah, like I did, like I think they did like an article, or not an article, a interview, like right after Cosmic Fury got announced or whatever, and they're basically saying like, after Dino Fury, well, as it was wrapping, they were told that it was probably going to end there, but there was like a slight chance they might come back, so they were told to like be basically on call for a little while because they weren't sure. And at the for a while they basically were just like, we don't think this is happening. And then I think talks started to happen at the beginning of this year or so, where they were like, hey, it's looking like we're gonna bring you guys back, just make sure your schedules are clear. And then I think the cast was saying that they found out around like April or something like that of this year.
That's great. They've been holding on to that one for a minute, huh?
Yeah, but it's basically just been like one of those things where they knew it was gonna happen, but obviously like I don't know if they know any more about the state of things, right? Like, or in terms of like what the premise is, like we're recording this the day before Hasbro PulseCon, so it's like the best case scenario is that tomorrow they give us the information that we're looking for in terms of at least like, are they going to have new suits? Are all of them gonna look like pseudo Morphin Masters? Are they gonna change Zayto's suit at all? We don't know at this point. Right. Like because before the final episode premiered, or before the leaks happened, I should say, like my guess was they were gonna adapt Kira Major, right? Because it's just the same amount of Rangers, and it has the a theming that could kind of work, and you could tie it into Zeo even if you wanted to, because the gems and the crystals and all that stuff. And I know a lot of people want Q Ranger. And that would be cool too. Like once I started hearing all those rumors about a White Ranger, I was like, well, they have like a White Red Ranger in Q Ranger, so technically that could work too. But that just but if you do Q Ranger, that means you need to have more Rangers. So it's like, are they gonna have more? And technically you could, but because like you could say Tarek is one, you could say, I mean, I'm not saying that they should be Rangers, but like James J. Borg or Fern or whoever the hell else,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not. Trust me, I'm not saying they should be, but I'm just like, knowing how they work, that's how something like that would go down. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, we have these characters already. Let's turn them into Power Rangers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that like now. I mean, thinking about it now, I should say, I feel like a lot of us have taken the cosmic title out of context. Like, we're assuming, and I feel like this is like for everybody. I feel like a lot of people were assuming that they're just gonna go to space. Very similar.
I think they said it in the press release.
Oh, that they are like straight up.
I don't have it in front of me, but I definitely remember rereading that because I had the same question as you, because I was like, does it just mean they have cosmic powers, or are they gonna be like in space? And they definitely specifically said something about them going to different planets.
Oh my god. So yeah, like that is Q Ranger, 100%. That's literally what happened. And I haven't watched that shit in years, and I literally remember every episode was like they did a roulette where that's how many, like they had a roulette for who was gonna go out on that mission because of like,
because they had so many team members,
right? They had like so many Rangers that realistically, budget wise, like IRL, like they can't have all of them all the time for everything. So in story, they roll a dice or something, and then Lucky, who was the Red Ranger, that was his thing. He was
He was
always
lucky,
fucking lucky.
So he always got
Yo,
picked.
Shalaki! And he would.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch this show, man. Like, because Q Ranger's literally like the next on my like Sentai catch up list.
Oh yeah, it's a fun one. It's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
So like, it was originally supposed to be my first, but I kind of put it off, and Ryu Soldier ended up being my first.
Watch out for my man Scorpion, the orange one. You gonna like him.
Yeah. Well, I know him from the All-Star team up.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, because originally I'm like, are they actually gonna? So if they are going to space and if they're going to other planets, then it's just like, okay, this is sounding very Q Ranger-esque, but it's weird trying to think of that while seeing how they ended Dino Fury, because if that last episode they're making it seem like they're gonna pull up to wherever Zedd is at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's like, are they
That's true.
like, are they about to be on some Dragon Ball GT and they're gonna be trying to track Zedd because he's the one moving from planet to planet, and they're just.
I hope so. Cause like the other thing that could possibly happen, like, and speaking, I guess, just from like pessimism, right, is that for all we know, they could start Cosmic Fury and they dealt with Zedd in between the two seasons, which I would not like, because I was like, if you're gonna build him up like that, you can't just write him off.
Oh no, please don't do that. That would honestly be the worst thing they could do.
That would suck. But it's also like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that, but I also feel like they know that fans have this expectation, especially because Zedd was set up in this way that you can't just, since if they have the opportunity to do something, then he better be the villain, and they better not just like write him off and do something weird.
They literally booked him as the fucking big bad.
Mm-hmm. Like the only thing I'll let them renege on is Zayto's suit. Like,
please.
I could see there being a situation where they either refine it in between and they just act like it was always that way,
right,
or they say that suit, they have some in-story reason for like, oh, this suit wasn't meant for fighting,
Yeah.
Or it was just like a one-off.
You're right.
But again, like, we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be like remember how in the comics, like, Andros now has that like black version of his suit.
Oh, that they did the toy.
Yeah, so I'm just like, maybe it's just that, like for Zayto, where it's like, oh, he's gonna have his Morphin Master suit. But again, like, I don't want it to be like, I would rather them get brand new suits, or like than that design of the Ryu Soldier suit. Like, cause honestly, like, real talk, if we're talking, like, I think the Ryu Soldier suits, like the Dino Fury suits and helmets, are like top tier suits for
they're
this
clean.
franchise.
They're very clean. Yeah, they have great designs. They're nice.
That Morphin Master variant is not it.
No.
But the other ones,
yes,
clean.
Yeah, I like their power up thing too, with the black one.
Yes,
that was cool.
And I think that going into a new season, it's like, obviously I do like these suits, but I'm kind of expecting now, like, new power, kind of like, again, because we talked about this in the first episode, like, when you went from Mighty Morphin to Zeo, you get the new suits for the whole team. That's a big deal, and that's why the power transfer, the power change became a big thing in Power Rangers. And that's like, I don't want a season 3 with just like a new mode, like a Morphin Master mode, like that would feel kind of very Megaforce-y.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term.
And I also thought that, and that was the thing that I feel like was, it probably played into the whole, they weren't really sure what was happening with the future. Because I was like, dude, I'm waiting for the part where they lose their powers. Something happens. Something goes wrong. I'm guessing they're going to be doing that, like, off rip, episode 1 for Cosmic Fury.
Which would also be great, because again, like, fantasy booking this, right? Let us write this, please.
Drakkon takes her power. Oh,
no, but Drakkon, he breaks the Zedd out, right? Zayto and the Dino Fury Rangers show up, try to take on Drakkon and Lord Zedd. They put up a fight, right? Maybe we get to see a little bit of what Zayto Morphin Master version can do.
Oh, right, yeah.
But then Drakkon gets into a fight with the Dino Fury Rangers, the other ones. Like maybe Zayto's like fighting Zedd, Drakkon's fighting the other ones.
Okay.
Drakkon takes their powers. Zayto's like, so then what do they do after that? They retreat. Morphin Masters show up. Your powers are gone.
Of course.
I'm gonna give you these new powers, blah blah blah. And granted, it's like I don't know how you would do it for Zayto because he just got new powers, but it's like,
nah, you give him something to match them. They have to. Yeah, that's how they rectify that shit. Those shit ugly.
Yeah, or maybe it would be like the retcon would be just like these powers, just like the White Ranger powers. It's like something like where they can't be stolen, through the means of whatever Drakkon uses.
That's what they think, at least, because Morphin Masters.
Yo, and how other how else this would. I'm just going down into this hole.
Please,
but we have to do this. So how in the comics, like every time Drakkon stole the powers, he got like a new Evo, like a new evolution of his. Yo, imagine him with the Dino Fury powers. With that half like demon side, because how in the comics right now, like where we yo, he would look crazy with the Dino Fury powers.
Evo 4.
Evo 4.
Son.
And then you could make lightning figures of that. Come on.
I mean, this is free freaking.
Come on.
Free ideas right here. Cut us a check, please. This is ridiculous.
This is too much. See. Now I'm gonna be disappointed. Whenever it comes out, it's just gonna be like, damn. But yeah, it's fun to think about, man. I love this stuff.
Yeah, honestly, what's crazy? As much as I would like idea-wise, for it to be the Morphin Masters to, of course, don them new powers. Listen, the Morphin Masters, they don't
even have to. Yeah.
These Morphin Masters are whack. All right, they're always changing up shit, man. They don't know what the hell they're doing. I would not trust them, right? But what would be really cool is if they imagine they hit up Ninjor. They had my man build them new shit because he made them the power coins, right?
Facts. No,
and it's the 30th anniversary.
30th anniversary? Yo, that would actually be fire.
Give me all the callbacks. Have Ninjor make them brand new power coins. Even if it wasn't coins, it doesn't matter, but you get what I mean. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they become the Cosmic Fury Rangers.
Damn it, man.
The possibilities are sick.
That's too good.
That's very...
Oh, man. Yo, let us know what you guys think of this in the comments. Just run along with it. Don't take it too seriously. Just be a kid and let your imagination run.
Yeah.
Just think of the possibilities.
Yo... I need to end this episode, but there's
we got to bring Mega Isaac and Tech into this.
Yeah,
we have a lot of opinions to go over. We've already gone way too far off the deep end. I guess just to recap, right? So for me, I overall really enjoyed the season. I thought that for the Neo Saban era style shows, this one definitely stands up there with probably objectively, it's probably the most consistent season.
Yeah.
And it's probably for that reason, it's probably the best one. I have a lot of I was a big fan of Dino Charge season 1, and I liked most of Beast Morpher season 1, but both second seasons kind of were middling. The Venjix thing in Beast Morphers was a cheap trick, but which I enjoyed. But it was cheap, but I enjoyed it.
Yes.
But it also was it was messy, right?
Yes.
And Dino Charge season 2 was just what the hell did they I don't know what the hell they were doing with Dino Charge season 2. Love the cast, love that first season, but that second half was terrible. But I think Dino Fury did a lot to rectify the storytelling, the character development. It kept it consistent, had a through line. It saw its vision from the beginning to the end, and it feels like one cohesive thing where it didn't feel like two things split up. You know, it felt like a big season, like if you were to watch it from beginning to end. And you know, I'm glad to see it, like this cast return. Like it may not, like there's still some weak links in the cast, but I feel like you have enough strong people that stand out, like Amelia, Izzy. You know, I would say that, you know, even I'm thinking of his real name, Ollie to some degree. You know, Zayto to some degree, Ion to some degree. Like the only one I felt like was a little weak was Javi, because like I feel like he works when he's with Izzy,
right?
But when he's by himself, he doesn't always work. I did like the episode where he teamed up with Zayto and they were kind of like helping each other out a little bit, but like overall he needs a moment, you know, or like,
you know,
other than just being the musician.
That's great, yo. It's so crazy you bring that up because of what you said. It reminded me of how OD the Ryu Soldier Black Ranger was.
No, Bamba was my favorite character in Ryu Soldier.
Yeah,
he was the guy, because that, again, like Ryu Soldier wasn't a perfect season, but Bamba was my dude.
I loved Ryu Soldier. I enjoyed it a lot.
Like I think the back half of Ryu Soldier was fire. But the first half of it, it took me a little while to warm up. And granted, you know, I don't know how to feel about it now that I know where it goes. But like the second half of Real Soldier was fire for sure. But Bamba was a great character in that show.
He was sick.
And Javi is no Bamba.
No,
but
by no means.
I don't think he needed to be. But it's also like one of those things where, you know, he was definitely like the weak link of the cast, if I had to say.
I agree.
Just overall.
I agree.
And to be fair, like I wouldn't, like, I guess that's decent, because I feel like some of the other seasons' weak links are way weaker than him. So like if he's the weakest and he's just like okay, then that's like pretty good for a Neo Saban season, you know?
He ain't no Rocky.
No.
So.
Or, you know, what about Carlos? Stop, I'm joking.
Oh, that's a great way to end the episode.
Yeah, man.
All right, well,
next time we'll get into it more.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. So, drop your socials. Let the folks know where they can hit you up at or whatever.
Yes, a myth known as JD on Twitter. You know, I didn't talk about this before, but I have like a Facebook side group where I kind of like will talk about the Power Ranger stuff that comes out every week, so like the comics and stuff like that. It's called Go Over Ranger. There's a long story behind that name. I'm not gonna get into it now, but you know, other than that, you know, I'm mostly on Twitter, YouTube, J2 Lewis.
All right, guys. Yeah, you can find all of the supporting links in the description as always. Easy boy Uchi, boy JD. We're signing out. Make sure you guys are liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting us up, leaving those comments down below. Let us know all your thoughts on the Dino Fury finale, which you're looking forward to for Cosmic Fury. And we'll see y'all next time.